Once again, my memories take me back to when a terrible epidemic killed countless people worldwide. It's the end of the year, when everyone and every home is preparing to welcome the new year, with hopes that the epidemic will end and all the luck will come to them in the new year. That year was the second year of the pandemic, and a year in which people suffered the most from deaths and economic collapse. That year was also the year that the teacher could not open classes. However, it was a year of brilliant achievements for him as he created special enlightened knowledge to teach his students the following year. The teacher doesn't seem to care about the preparations for the new year like every family and everyone. Like every year, this year, he only buys food and fruits to prepare for the new year. Therefore, he has a lot of time to build special enlightened knowledge by combining the two truths and the wisdom of the smallest energy particle. In addition, he also spends time researching and finding the most effective methods in applying that enlightened knowledge to treat people with mental and physical illnesses. The teacher often tells his students,
"No one thinks and acts for me, and nothing comes itself if I don't think and act by myself."
That is why he never stops trying to upgrade enlightened knowledge of the two truths and find the most effective methods to help people heal their mental and physical illnesses and overcome suffering in life fastest. One night at the end of the year, when he was in a deep sleep, the Tuelin within him returned to heaven. At that time, he went into Jiak and Chap's workplace. Seeing Nalas Nalanda return, they both immediately approached and greeted him. Then all three Tuelins sat together and enjoyed glasses of water that could only be found in heaven. For Jiak and Chap, the fact that Nalas Nalanda often returned to talk and teach them, and the Tuelins became familiar every time he incarnated as a human to practice or perform a task. They felt like he was still working there, not as if he had reincarnated as a human like other Tuelins. After a few stories, Chap asked him,
"Father, I know that when Tuelins are disintegrated by the energy of destruction, they are extremely painful. From the pain within them, they become out of control. Especially when residing in human form, their actions cause harm to people, animals, and everything around them. Father, can you tell us what damage they can cause?"
At that time, Nalas Nalanda raised his right hand before all three Tuelins and pushed it to the right. His miracle created a moving picture in the air. As he spoke, different images were recreated in that painting. He said,
"Look, because of their many harmful particles, the souls of those boys and girls practice a lifestyle of playfulness and sensuality. They live and sleep together like a herd. They use stimulants to create excitement and satisfy pleasure. They spread diseases to each other. A life with no future ahead is the path they have chosen. Those children make their parents suffer. That is the image of same-sex love. On the outside, they seem happy because they live with their passion, but their souls inside have lost control. The toxins and disconnections in their soul structure make them unaware of their thoughts and actions. It is the image of impure love between boys and girls. They love each other to satisfy their lust, not to become husband and wife. That's why they don't appreciate each other. As a result, many girls abort their unborn babies when they accidentally become pregnant. It is a crime, and it causes the process of producing harmful energy particles and breaking connections in the soul to become faster. Look, my kids, because they loved each other, they became husband and wife. Yet they still commit adultery with others. Harmful energy particles are produced from there. Those are images of a husband who is addicted to alcohol and gambling and beats his wife and children. Not only that, they also sold all their valuable possessions and the house they lived in to pay off debt. They cause their wives and children to suffer both physically and mentally. Toxic energy particles are constantly being produced, and the decay process in their souls is also happening faster. Image of a husband who is jealous and thinks his wife is unfaithful. They beat and even killed the wife when they discovered she was having an affair. Those resentments and actions caused them to produce harmful energy particles with extreme negative heat. They hurt each other, their children and their parents. Those are images of divorce situations. Just because of the attachment and arrogance of both husband and wife, when disagreements and conflicts occur, they do not sympathize and get along with each other. Instead, they were impulsive and divorced. They cause suffering to their children and parents. The sadness and suffering of women and wives when they do not have children. They are sad and miserable because their husbands decide to divorce just because they have no children. The wife's resentment and the husband's cruelty make them walk the path of soul decay. That image is the imposition and pressure that parents create on their children. Their parents want them to study well and become talented people in the future. They constantly force their children to learn day and night. Some children have committed suicide because of their parents' authoritarianism and mental and physical abuse. Those are bad parents who put their suffering and greed on their children. It is the lack of parental love that children must accept. Parents and children produce harmful energy particles. Those are the images of husbands and wives who leave them to be with someone else when witnessing their husband or wife's illness. They make their spouses helpless due to poverty, loneliness, and the cruel diseases they have. Since then, there have been patients who resent their spouses. Both have produced harmful energy particles of decay. Mentally ill people lose control of their thoughts and actions. They always think their relatives are enemies. They believe their spouse is having an affair outside, and acts of killing their loved ones in a loss of control occurred. The suffering and grief caused by disintegration and disconnection in their souls is happening too strongly. Those are images because of disagreements and conflicts between parents and children. The children were murdered by their father. It is the cruelty and imperceptibility of parents because the toxins in them erupt. Children abandon their parents in illness and poverty. Some children beat and kill their parents just to compete for property and land. Unfilial children cause their souls to produce countless harmful energy particles and accelerate decay. Those are images of brothers and sisters fighting over land and property in a family. They sued each other in court. They fight and even kill each other. Greed and ignorance have plunged them into producing harmful energy particles. Those are the images when people have their relatives and parents when they die. They went to psychics to ask for charms and cast spells on the graves of the dead. They believe that if their loved one dies at an inauspicious time, it will cause harm to their descendants and the living. Those are harmful energy particles of ignorance produced by inhumanity and no filial piety. Those images are of healthy boys. Instead of honest labor, they became thieves and bandits. They are even killing those who oppose them. Harmful energy particles are produced, causing their souls to become disconnected and lose more control. Those are images of beautiful girls. Instead of honest labor, they use their beauty to make money on their bodies. They become prostitutes or commit adultery for cash. That causes their souls to decay very quickly by toxins and harmful energy particles. People who are married because of wealth, status, or lack of sexual satisfaction from their spouses. They look to other people outside to have relationships outside of marriage. They do not know that those actions cause their souls to become sick through decay. Those are images where people take hunting animals and fishing as hobbies. They are happily harboring the deaths of all species. They indulge in their cruelty. They show off their achievements to their friends and relatives. People make a living and get rich by hunting, slaughtering, and selling animal meat. They did not know they had produced countless harmful energy particles of ignorance and killing. That caused their souls to produce numerous harmful energy particles of killing. Their souls are disconnected and decay very quickly. That is the image of people who, for their benefit, produce fake and poor quality products. They benefit enormously from those actions. Not only that, consumers are affected by the health effects of those products. Those people are being controlled by toxins and getting rich regardless, even endangering human health and life. Those are pictures of famous people. They use that to earn profit from people through acts of charity and natural disasters. Merchants. They use opportunities during epidemics and natural disasters to trade fake products. They cheat on people's lives. Those are people who release powerful toxins. Because the consequences they cause to humans are highly significant, their decay rate is high speed. These are healthy people but lazy to work and live daily. There are people from there who become robbers or become hired killers for others. They are destroying their souls without knowing it. Those are the employers. They cursed and beat the workers. They think they have money and are the boss, so they have the right to do those things to their workers. That is the ignorant wisdom they have because of their toxins. These are people who fight and even kill each other because of conflicts. From hatred, resentment, and those actions, they produce a lot of harmful energy particles. Their souls are, therefore, disconnected and increasingly disintegrate. Those painful images are the suicidal actions of mothers when giving birth, even killing their children. They become depressed during pregnancy and after giving birth when they do not receive their husbands' and relatives' care and love. Their souls lost control because of panic and resentment. Those suicidal actions cause their souls to decay even more. There are also acts of suicide, but they are because of failure in life, career, a lot of debt, and resentment towards each other. Those who commit suicide think that death will help them no longer have any responsibilities in life. But they don't know that it causes their souls to decay, and when reincarnated as humans in the next life, they will become more out of control and miserable. These are people with status and power in the government apparatus. They take advantage of their positions for embezzlement and corruption. They despise and make things difficult for people. They even find ways to make money when the country has natural disasters and epidemics. People consider them inferior to animals and do not have officials' ethics. They directly and indirectly cause poverty and deaths in natural disasters and epidemics. The damage they made to the people was countless, so their souls produced numerous harmful energy particles. Those are images of leaders of nations. They are ruthless when suppressing other countries' economies. In particular, they launch wars of invasion against other countries to satisfy their reasons. They massacred countless lives of the people of other countries and their soldiers. Their souls produce numerous harmful energy particles. Therefore, the soul's decay process happens very quickly. Those images are of the leaders of the invaded countries. They need to be more knowledgeable and talented to help their country have economic and defense strength so that other countries do not dare to invade them. Their ignorance caused the people of their country to die on the battlefield and in poverty. Their souls also produce countless harmful energy particles. Both invaders and defenders of the territory are ignorant in thinking that the land and territory are theirs. They need to learn what the practice environment in the human world is for, and no region is theirs. These are images of teachers in schools. They are the ones who teach knowledge to students, but they make their students need help with the scores to make money from them. Even teachers ask female students to exchange their lust for grades. Those teachers do not know how to appreciate their noble profession and walk on the path of transmutation and decay. Teachers teach harmful knowledge to students. These actions are hazardous when toxic information values are spread to many students and society. This spread of ignorance causes countless people to become ignorant and disintegrate in their souls. Teachers who act like this only cause them to perish faster. Images of students being arrogant because of the toxic outbreak and thinking they are more talented and intellectual than their classmates and teachers. That causes them to slide down the path of producing harmful energy particles. People who take advantage of beliefs and religions to practice praying to gods, Buddhas, and God. They use people's beliefs to threaten them with poverty, disease, and death if they do not give them money to help pray to gods, Buddhas, and God. Those did not know they were producing a lot of harmful energy particles in their souls. Teachers in religions. They are spreading false propaganda about the path of practice in the human world. They do not understand the origin and truth of exercise in human form in the human world, so they believe in praying to Buddha or God to return to heaven. They propagate ignorance to everyone and keep everyone immersed in ignorance. That causes people to become increasingly immersed in information chaos, and they do not know the truth and the path to liberation from suffering. These ignorances are spread widely in the human world and from life to life. People who spread false information and ignorance cause their souls to become the souls with the fastest decay rate. Those are the ignorant teachers in religions. They propagate to their followers that their faith is the best. They criticize and insult other religions to attract followers to their religion. They must learn that Nalas Nalanda created beliefs and countless interactive scenarios to help souls reveal their entire nature. Next is identification to force out toxins and activate kindness. However, they are dominated by toxins, and they cause many of their followers to produce harmful energy particles and disintegrate souls like them. And there are many other damages that negative energy multi-particle Tuelins cause in the human world. Every person who is practicing the path of sustainable transformation in the human world sees those injuries.
Jack told his teacher, "Father, the poison of the Tuelins is hazardous for themselves and everything around them. They do not easily control and eliminate their toxins. That leads to suffering and harm to people, animals, and themselves." The teacher continued,
The negative energy multi-particle Tuelins harm people, animals, and all living things are all children Tuelins. They are small and immature. However, when their toxins explode at a strong level, they can destroy the entire human world while they live in the hands of humans. That proves to you the danger and destruction of every Tuelins when practicing the mechanism of transformation, decay, and destruction.
Chap immediately asked his teacher,
Father, do you have any solution to help them?
The teacher replied,
Of course I have a solution. That is to rebuild a practice environment that contains the true information values of the sustainable transmutation mechanism. Knowledge of the two truths will create an ideal environment to help those suffering souls from being infected with toxic information from different religious and philosophical perspectives. The two truths will exist long in the human world to help countless souls. After that, I will continue to let the practice environment become more complicated so that the Tuelins can continue their journey of practice, forcing out toxins and activating their goodness. Remember that the Earth's environment was created to help souls practice suffering and tribulation. Great rescues of Tuelins and the rebuilding of humanity can only be accomplished when almost all Tuelins are completely out of control, and there are Tuelins ready to transform yin and yang energy embryos into energy filters. That is the time for the great salvation of humanity in the human world.
Jack and Chap immediately said,
We are excited to accompany you in the human world. We will strive to dedicate our lives to complete that mission with you.
Nalas Nalanda nodded and said,
That is the only path to grow and become an enlightened being. You must always keep the fire of dedication when incarnating as a human because a human life passes very quickly. I'm also racing against time to help learners release all toxins and force them out. Besides, I must help them speed up the process of producing positive energy particles. Tuelins in the human world are frozen in clusters of multi-negative energy particles. They only recognize them when they are mentally ill and cause harmful consequences to everyone. Therefore, they are unable to control and transform them. I will have to awaken their negative energy particle clusters so that they can awaken and practice the positive energy particle production mechanism. That is extremely important because if they do not awaken the frozen particle clusters, it will be difficult for them to identify the poison to suppress and the goodness to activate.
After chatting with the two messengers, the teacher returned to his physical form when it was almost dawn outside. In the following days, he planned lectures when classes resumed after the epidemic ended, including sermons that awakened all the memories of Tuelins during many lifetimes of practice in the human world. Their memories were frozen and disconnected by the destructive energy controlling the negative energy multi-particle clusters.